We've been married for 8 years, together for 10. 8 years ago, about 5 months after our wedding, my wife left me for another man. We were separated for 5 months but never got a divorce. She then came back asking for a second chance and I gave it to her. The last 8 years were immensely better than the previous 2. We had a stronger relationship than ever. For 8 years we never fought, never argued, and only on the rarest of instances, maybe like 5 times in 8 years, raised our voices to each other. She was the perfect little wife. She loved to cook, bake, and spoiled me. All my friends were jealous of how much my wife does for me. And I made it perfectly clear to her every single day how much I appreciate all she does for me, how much I love her, and we would bask in how much better our relationship seemed than everyone else's. I signed up for nursing school 6 months ago. The school is in a city 150 miles away. I'd still be home 3 minutes 4 nights a week, but I'd be up in school for a big chunk of every week for 2 years. I didn't make this decision without her. We discussed it a lot and she was super supportive, and we were both excited about the kind of pay I'd be earning when I graduate. We could finally get a nice house, finally go on nice vacations every year instead of once every few years. We have both put on a lot of weight over the last decade. We both really let ourselves go. Food was a real comfort in life for us, and she loved to cook and bake treats. She's a professional baker. We have both tried and failed dozens of times to lose the weight, always falling back into our bad habits after a couple of months. 4 months ago we started again. It was going really well until I had a surprise medical emergency and needed surgery that had me laid up for a couple months. I was in severe pain all the time, but she was wonderful the whole time. I went back to my bad eating habits out of need of comfort, but she stayed true to the course, or so I thought, and continued to lose weight. I was so proud of her, and while she did have a lot of sagging and loose skin issues, I couldn't have cared less. I love this woman with my entire heart and soul. I didn't care if she weighed 120 pounds or 400 pounds. Her mind and her heart were all that mattered to me. In the back of your mind, when a spouse starts to lose weight and you always get a small tingle of fear of what could happen, but I never let that get to me. After all, she had made that mistake 8 years ago and really truly regretted it. So I assumed she learned her lesson and it would never be an issue again. Oh, how wrong I was. She ended up losing 75 pounds, needed to lose 90 to get to her goal weight, and was looking so good. I guess that's when the attention from male customers at work started to flow in. I had one more surgery planned for July 21st. It was just to finish up the first one. The recovery and pain was supposed to be nothing like before, and it wasn't. I feel great now concerning the surgery area. We went on an overnight road trip on June 29th and it was fantastic. We made some of the best love we had made in months after that trip. Everything seemed perfect. July 4th was the start of the weirdness though. I noticed all of a sudden she started getting distant. Wouldn't reply to texts nearly as often as she had before. Didn't kiss me hard like she would before. Would just kind of drape her arms on me in bed or when we hug instead of the tight squeezes I am accustomed to. I asked if everything was okay, mentioned the changes I have noticed, and she assured me things were fine. That work had just been really stressful lately, and it was getting to her, which is true. Her job has been nuts lately, and that she would try to get back into our old groove. Nothing changed. If anything, the texts started coming less frequently. The kisses left often. She would sleep on the other side of the bed instead of snuggled up next to me like she always did. Something was definitely wrong. I decided I was going to be the best husband I could be. I started doing all the choirs so she had none. I did all the cooking or got takeout so she had less stress when she got home from work. I went out and picked a huge set of wild flowers, the same ones I picked for her on our honeymoon. I wrote page-long love letters that I wrote from the heart, no fake romantic BS. All of this fell on deaf ears. I had snuck out after she fell asleep to do the flower note thing. I assumed when she got up for work she would come back in the bedroom and wake me up. She didn't. She didn't even text me about them. Finally, I sent her a text asking how work was going, assuming she would then tell me about how much she liked the flowers and note. Nothing. I finally asked her if she saw them, read the note, and she said, "Yeah, that was sweet of you." I knew something was wrong now, but you really want to live in denial when this kind of thing is happening. The next night I asked for her cell phone just to transfer some photos to it, and I could see her deleting a bunch of text before she handed it to me. I wouldn't have even checked her text. She also started spending way more time on her phone than she ever had before. Alarm bells were ringing like crazy. My birthday came up and she made me my favorite meal, but we were both too tired from work and such for sex that night. The next day I tried to get something going in the bed, and for the first time in our relationship she couldn't get in the mood after I had started all the old reliable goat. She was even closing her legs while I was trying to get her going, something she had never done. She apologized and said she's just stressed from work, and we both went to sleep. 5 days later, I told her I was going to go see a friend, but really I just went to the nearby beach to think about what I should do. I decided there that if she wants out of our marriage, I'll let her out. I came home and she was just getting out of the shower. I finally confessed all the fears I'd been feeling right there in the bathroom. And with tears streaming down my face, I told her if she wants out of our marriage, I'll let her go because I love her too much to keep her someplace she won't be happy. She was crying too and told me no. She wanted to stay and felt bad that her actions were making me feel this way and fearing so much for our marriage. Things were kind of normal the next day, but you could tell something was still off. That night she slept with a blanket dam between us. The next morning I sent her some lovey-dovey text and she never replied. I checked Facebook Messenger a few times and she was constantly being active on there, which meant she was ignoring my text. I called her at work to see how her day is going and all that, and then asked why it felt like she was ignoring me. She said she was just busy. My surgery was the next day and we were supposed to leave that evening for a nice date night and a surprise I had planned for her along the way. I assumed things would get better after that and just let it go. About an hour later, I get a huge text about how she's sorry, but she just wants out of our marriage. She said she's been unhappy for a while and just wants out. After some back and forth, that changed to she just needs time to think. I freaked out about the whole situation and went to my brother's house, where I would be staying for school and where we had planned to be that night anyways, seeing as my surgery was in the same town. I let her know I would be there and that if she wanted to talk or see me, even at 3 a.m. I would drive right down. I just didn't want to be alone, so I went to stay with family and I had to be up there to get surgery anyway. I asked her several times to come up because I wanted her face to be the first thing I see when I wake up from surgery, but she never replied. She wouldn't answer phone calls, started ghosting me. The surgery came and went and she never even asked me how it went. I tried talking to her several times, but she wouldn't reply to any text, and when she would talk to me on the phone, only when I called her at work, she would just tell me she's sorry and needs time to think. I got a text from her mom asking me some general questions, and that seemed strange to me. I don't think she'd talk to me about this stuff if she knew what we were going through. I assumed my wife had been staying at her house since she didn't want to stay at our home. I asked my wife where she was staying because I assumed it was her parents, and she told me she was staying with her friend Faith. I ended up using Find My iPhone the next day to see where she was. She was at some house I'd never seen before, miles down the road from where she said she was staying. I called her out on this over text and she again assured me she was at Faith's and the GPS must be wonky because of the bad cell coverage there. The next day I turned on the app when I knew she was getting off work and watched her drive straight to this strange house again. I called her when she pulled into the driveway, but she of course didn't answer. I then sent her a screenshot of her location and told her if she wasn't honest with me right now, I was going to drive over there and pound on the front door. The truth finally came out. She has been talking to another guy for a month or so and she lives with him now. They're head over heels in love and she leaving me for him. He's only here temporarily for work, so when he goes back to the other side of the country, Shiz wants to go with him. She turned down a huge promotion at work Shiz been working her ass off for 2 years to get. Turned it down 2 days before it was supposed to go through. She's going to leave her family, friends, career, everything for this new guy. She erased her phone and with it the last 10 years of memories we have built together, photos, videos, etc. Then she confessed that the reason she lost all this weight is because she's been abusing pain pills, but stopped cold turkey a couple weeks ago and not eating but one small meal a day at dinner time with me. I thought she had lost weight from healthy choices. I've been a wreck since then. She won't talk to me at all about anything. I know I just need to walk away, but I am still very much in love with her, just extremely hurt. I offered everything and anything to try and save our marriage, even forgetting about school, but it all fell on deaf ears. It's been 3 weeks now and it only seems to hurt more each day. I feel like there are two people living inside my head. The one that says fuck her man, you can never trust her again, give up and move on, and the one that says I love this woman more than anything. I've never loved someone this much and never could again. I need her back. All my friends and family tell me I just need to block those thoughts out and focus on school, which starts Monday, but I care about her so much and I feel like she's just having a huge mental breakdown. I also don't know this guy at all and don't know if he's abusive or a manipulator or planning to use her and leave her. I fear for her safety, but there is nothing I can do. My friends tell me she's going to come begging back in 6 months. Don't take her back. But honestly, I feel like she won't. Even if I couldn't take her back, I wish she would give me that call just so I could feel less worthless. Like the last 10 years didn't mean nothing to her. But she's head over heels for this new guy and pretending I don't exist, and the last 10 years never happened. I've been dealing with some really dark thoughts about myself, haven't been eating, losing a lot of weight, which is nice I guess lol. and I'm lucky if I get a couple hours of sleep every night. I'm a wreck. I'm in a deep depression. I don't know what to do, how to make these feelings go away. Honestly, I'm not even sure why I am typing all this out. I guess I'm just desperate for any kind of advice.